Oh, I don't know, I'm not gonna say that.
I can't do that with shift and sort of way.
Yeah, right, yeah.
State law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Weiss.
Here.
Tiller.
Here.
Hart.
Here.
Aaron Johnson.
Here.
Euchre.
Here.
Ben Johnson.
Here.
Smith.
Here. All rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item agenda 1, the consent agenda. Approve this agenda, pay the claims as submitted, approve treasurer's report for August 2025, and D, approve the minutes of the September 2nd, 2025 regular meeting of the council. Aaron moves, Ben seconds.
Euchre.
Yes.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Tiller.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson.
Yes.
Item agenda 2, public forum, nobody here, so I'll close public forum. Item agenda 3, consider the final reading of ordinance 2487 vacating South 7th Street, South Sheridan Street, in the alleyway in Block 3, Holdridge South Edition.
Final reading, ordinance 2487. An ordinance to vacate South 7th Street, South Sheridan Street, and the alley in Block 3, Holdridge South Edition, Phillips County, Nebraska. To repeal all other ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, to provide for the severability of all parts hereof, to designate the time described when this ordinance shall be in effect, be ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Holdridge, Nebraska.
Corey moves. Nick seconds.
Tiller.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson.
Yes.
Euchre.
Yes.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Weiss.
Item agenda 4, adopt resolution 2025-11, resolving the sale of the city-owned house to be removed from the property at 610 East Avenue in Holdridge, Nebraska. This is a house just north of the library.
I'll make the motion.
Aaron Johnson moves.
I'll second.
Trent seconds.
Euchre.
Yes.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Weiss.
Yes.
Tiller.
Yes.
Hart.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson.
Yes.
Open discussion. Corey, we'll start with you tonight, please. How you feeling?
Good, thank
Good.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Heard you were a little under the weather.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it all turned out good. I was working from home. Despite working from home, I did have a phone call with Chief and Chris earlier in the week, and we did talk about the scooters. I just wanted to let you know that we looked at a lot of different ordinances. The only cities that really have ordinances at this time are Lincoln and Omaha. And I think the reason they have them as opposed to others at this point largely is because they have the rental program. They're kind of strict. You can't operate a scooter in either location unless you have a driver's license legally. So when we were talking about it and then discussing, what Grand Island was thinking about doing, what Hastings was thinking about doing, what Kearney was thinking about doing. We came to somewhat of a consensus that, you know, government should not be, take the place of good parenting in some respects. And so, similar to what we would do, since we don't really have any bicycle ordinances or anything related to skateboards or other things that are operated on a sidewalk, is that we thought that it might be best at this point in time, without knowing the full scope of the problem, since this is a newly emerging area, to withhold on recommending ordinances to the board unless you guys want to, you know, talk about it more. But to use this as an opportunity to maybe do some education. And kind of our thought was, as part of maybe the bike rodeo or whatnot, to maybe combine with the hospital to try to, you know, encourage the use of helmets and safe protocols and procedures for using these kind of scooters. Right now, I think we would be reacting to a problem that we really don't know the full scope of. And, you know, we've heard anecdotally a little bit about, you know, kids maybe, you know, getting hurt or scaring the crap out of their neighbors. But, you know, the other fear is that you put something on the books like that, and next thing you know, you got to enforce it. And enforcing some of these ordinances, you know, you've got little Randy's calling up and saying this kid keeps whizzing up and down the street, you know, he's annoying me more than anything else. So again, that was kind of where we came on consensus on the scooters. I'd be open to talking about it with you guys further, but that's where we left it at that point in time.
I think I kind of agree with that scenario for right now. Let's try to educate the kids and the parents, probably more so the parents. But
Exactly, the parents I think are more the problem. You know, we can encourage them. You know, I mean, honestly, as the county attorney, it scares the hell out of me that, you know, a kid might get hurt. But at the same time, you know, some of the responsibility falls on them.
okay, thank you. Chief?
Just have that event on Thursday at Colton Feed. I'll be serving coffee for anyone interested. So
What time is that?
it's between 9 and 10. So just something we're gonna try new, kind of a community outreach, getting to know the community a little bit better, so they know me better. We'll still do a coffee with the cop. I think we're gonna plan to do that November, tentatively the 10th. But this is kind of just something new we'll try. So.
And that's Thursday, did you say?
Yep.
So you can bring all your scooter complaints at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, just talk to the other guys. I'll bring your coffee.
I have my scooter.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a great idea.
Brian, thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Chris?
Just want to remind you, your budget information is in your packet, so you can review it. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to drop the levy by 1 cent this year. Come down a little bit. We've dropped our overall budget by a few $100,000 from last year. So we're trying to keep things in check.
Excellent. Dan?
I am good, thank you.
Aaron?
I have nothing.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
In regards to the budget, Chris, off the top of your head, as far as there's a few groups that asked for some extensions, were we able to accommodate anybody?
We left them all the same as we did last year.
I was trying to find it, but
Yep. No, everything stayed the same as what they did last year.
right.
Can I just make a comment on that? When in the past, when someone came in and asked for an additional at that time, I remember it being said, we have this much money, you know, what, is there a particular fund or something that's used
Well,
to
it
kind
comes out
of?
of the Community Improvement Development Fund, so, and that basically is all coming out of, that money comes from the general fund, so that's where we have to take it. So we have to fill our general fund accounts first, and then we go with what's left
But
over.
that's what's
So
adding that.
that goes in there. So we actually cut a couple of our capital funds a little bit to make the budget work. So we're still in good shape.
Chief, I had a couple of complaints last week about people parking in their yards. Are we still enforcing that curb,
Well, you guys voted that down.
the curb cut?
No, they
So
never
the
took,
curb
it
cut.
it went to, didn't final reading, it didn't go
It
anywhere.
didn't pass.
Did
So yeah, the curb cut, yeah, they can't park over the curb.
But don't
We
we
drive over the curb, but we can't, if we don't see it, it's not.
do we, well, yeah, we shut that one down, didn't we? Or that one didn't pass?
The parking in the yards.
The parking in the yard didn't pass?
Yes. Yeah, I think it went to second reading and then failed for lack of
Failed.
motion.
I've got the minutes of that. So Ed Erickson has been hitting me up on this a couple of
I
times.
talked,
I got a couple calls.
I would, yeah.
I talked to Ed as
impression
well.
It was passed. We maybe need to revisit that and see what you guys think, Corey, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, you know, and so from what I can tell is that if the car is still operable and movable, it can still be parked in the yard.
It has to be licensed too.
And it has to be licensed. But then, you know, if it's not operable, doesn't have a license, fits other criteria, then it can be considered salvage or junk. And then it becomes
a weed and litter complaint.
a weed and litter complaint, exactly,
Yeah. So as long as they're currently licensed, there's not much we can do.
right?
I've got a copy of that ordinance that was turned down, this has been a couple of years ago, before I came on.
Yeah. I don't see anything in current
No, there's nothing.
ordinance that says you cannot park your vehicle in any place other than a driveway. It doesn't say that it has to be in a driveway.
Right, because I know I was one to go from it, and not against it, because if I'm moving from my house and I back up to my yard and then I go get something to eat and my vehicle's sitting there, I get a ticket for that. So to me, it's like, if it sits there for weeks, then yes, then to me it's like a weed and litter. So, but just,
But even then, though,
Yeah.
as long as it's
But I
licensed,
mean,
it can sit there for weeks.
licensing.
yeah, if it's sitting there, it's like,
what they're supposed to do.
that's to me, it's like,
As long as
it's
it's
one
not
less thing.
blocks.
But yeah, they can't drive over the curb,
Which they are.
which they are, but unless they see it, there's nothing gonna
Right,
be done.
that's like Chief said,
I
unless you
have
actually
no
see him back up over it, you don't
Well,
know.
I mean, for all you know, like pulling through the alley, drive through the own yard,
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, in the past, there have been some that have pulled right off of Lincoln onto, all they did is leave mud, you know, now that it gets wet and whatever. And, it's like, you couldn't walk on the sidewalk without having to walk through the mud or slide or whatever, and so, but some of these are now what turned into, 2 cars, now it's 3 cars, and, no grass anymore, type of thing, in the front yard, I mean, you know, so it's like, you know, it does, depends what neighborhood you live in. If you like seeing it.
I guess that's one way to keep the taxes low. I guess I'm open for more feedback on it, and if we need to revisit the curb cut situation, maybe we do.
And some of these properties do have backyards, they have alleys. They have a lot of bush back there, it hasn't, you know, been cleaned up, it could be, I mean, I don't know, maybe there's a way to, incentivize somebody to kind of clean up.
But I would say
What-
for that,
I don't know.
some people, they can still drive, but they can't walk a good distance.
Oh, okay.
So they drive right to their front door and get out. And that doesn't Beaver City. He literally drives to his front door, gets out, walks in. So is that what's happening? And we're going now.
Not in these particular ones,
know,
but.
but-
Right, but it's.
Yeah.
But it's still to that aspect, so. we
Well, like I
can
say,
visit.
I still have the copy of that, what was being proposed in 2019. And I've got it on the desk, you know, if I can make a couple of copies and hand them out, if you wanna look at that.
Okay, I'm done.
One, talked to him, but shout out to Brian, his crew, Darren Muse and Alex, and some of the park guys helping getting the new flags up at Veterans Park. So at the Veterans Memorial, they're up, they look good, done a good job, so go down, take a peek, hopefully we get some new flags on it and get it finished up. Other than that, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Corey?
Nothing from me.
Lowell?
Nothing, thank you.
Stacy? Real quickly, bring you up to date, the Auditorium Steering Committee met last Wednesday on the 17th. We had a really good discussion with the architect. They brought us 3 options. It was kind of mix and match of some of the things that we could do. We kind of, I think, settled on, we had, like I say, it was a fairly long discussion, about almost an hour. And I think the architect got a pretty good idea of what we would like to do. And so they will put that together along with an estimate of cost of what it would take to do this. And we will meet in October, probably about the mid of October. And I suppose make any changes or whatever then. And then they would like to do a public showing in November. They want to get most of that out of the way. The application is in January.
Letter of intent has to be in by January 15th, and the grant application, I believe, by March 1st.
Okay, so, and that's gonna take a while to put that grant request in and everything. So that's just basically trying to bring you up to date. The committee will meet again in October, and then we'll have a public showing, hopefully in November, first part of November, of what we plan to do and get some feedback from the public and go there. So we're moving forward with that.
Quick question about
Yes.
that.
Yes,
In the post-meeting meeting, where we were
Yeah.
looking at more ideas,
right.
do we just wait until that meeting to bring those up, or is that?
Yeah, do we have some way to contact them?
Yeah, we can get a hold of Jenny anytime you want.
Okay, all right, yeah, so,
So-
yeah, why don't we maybe put something together and get a hold of her and she can get it off to the architect.
She says maybe like second option.
Yeah, right, okay,
Yeah, if you want to email it to me, I can forward it to her.
okay, great. Great, that's all I got, so let's call it a meeting, go ahead.
Did you, you're done.